Alright, If I Don't See You in Paradise. You reviewed a Crimeapple before, or Crimeapple album before, while wearing this.
Did I?
Yep.
There you go, mate.
You said it was quite a lyric album,
Yes.
and you couldn't read the lyrics, so you don't really have much to say.
Yes.
But you did really like it. You gave it a 9 out of 10.
Look at that. You did your research, mate.
Well, I watched some of the video.
Right.
And yeah, I was going to choose Crimeapple 2 weeks ago, but I chose Giant Gorilla Dog Thing over him.
Right.
And I'm glad I did. I enjoyed Giant Gorilla Dog Thing, and obviously Crimeapple interested me enough to come back.
Yep.
After the first track, I know this album is going to absolutely slap.
Right.
It started with some weird sample of a man talking to what appears to be a mentally disabled man who is sitting outside in the rain. And the man sitting down is wondering what it's like to be in a plane. He wants to know what everything else will look like from all the way up there. And then the beat comes in. It's very Kanye. It's a vocal sample of some man singing in the intro. Then when the verse comes in, the beat just uses one sort of portion of that sample and sort of like loops it and chops it and does a whole lot of cool stuff with it. Oh, and there's trumpet. Number one sign if a rap album is going to be good is that there's trumpet.
Is there a trumpet?
Lil Baby's not using any trumpet. You're going to come out of this, the other end of this album, a smarter individual.
Yep.
I genuinely don't know what he says at the start of the verse, and there aren't any lyrics online, so I'll play it so you can kind of hear. I'll let the sample play as well.
What are you doing sitting down here in the rain?
Oh, just listening to the boats.
It's nice, all right.
You ever been up in an airplane?
Yeah? Several times. Why?
I always wanted to see what things looked like from up there.
And I searched for the dialogue in Google, and I couldn't find anything, so I don't know where it's from. But it does suit the album a lot, and he's got like a lot of old-timey samples throughout the album, so it does all tie together.
100%.
But yeah, it sounds really nice, like with the vocal sample.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds nice. His rhymes have a bit of a Griselda type vibe to them. The words he uses are different, and obviously he's not rapping about bagging up cocaine and injecting heroin. Just the way that it sounds is pretty similar. And the format of each track is actually really similar as well. Like, it's very loosey-goosey. There's not always a chorus. Sometimes it's 2 verses with an instrumental break, or just one long verse and a sample at the end. In the first track, he had a pretty good lyric about the halfway point about the type of people who don't go anywhere in life, how they don't do anything to help themselves, but then complain about how you're so much further ahead than them. Well, that's what I got from it, at least anyway. He said, y'all talking that back in the day shit like it ain't the lowest form of conversation. Running in place, I can't relate to y'all, got good jokes and funny bank statements. Yeah, I think funny bank statements is a pretty clever way of saying broke bitches.
Yep.
Second track has some violin in it, which I really like, but the mixing was weird. I don't know if I'm crazy, but it sounds like the violin is just a little bit in my left ear, like, and a bit back too. I don't know. It's a bit weird. The lyrics in this one were a little bit weird too, actually. Like, they are still better than most, don't get me wrong about that, but it's just all about getting head, and it's not really that exciting. Here's something you can relish. I wrote this in 200 seconds. Get neck in Alexis from Alexis. I don't know, like, it sounds good, but it's not really about anything. Then a little bit later on, he says, I came off the head while I was getting head. Huh? Rat born, I may take up tennis. Either way, I'ma have some racks and be all over the net. Which is like, it's clever, but not accurate, because in tennis, you're not over the net. The net's in the middle.
But you hit the ball over the net.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, that's fair. That's not something I had considered. Fair enough. Okay, I'll give him that then. That was a decent one. There was also a lyric right at the start where he says, stop thinking of free when you think of me, but technically you can think free when you think of me, because I broke out the obstacles, made wins out of losses. Which, like, it's not a bad lyric, but it's not really good either. He did actually manage to turn around a little bit in the end. Homie said I was being too nice, couldn't agree more. Still haven't changed my number since rap was something I could eat off. I know the streets don't love me, dog. On the road of life, I expected some detours. So when you stop hearing from me, if you don't love me, just let me be. C'est la vie. Like, I like that it's got sort of a level of self-awareness in it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he definitely could have gone further than that. He just left it there and sort of just rapped about other stuff. One thing he tends to do is have like a very basic message in each song. It doesn't always have to be a different message for different songs. He'll lightly touch on that message for a couple of lines and then just leave it there and go back to how he's getting head in Alexis from Alexis. The rest of the song can be about like anything else. Like, they do still have good wordplay, but it won't be anything sort of content heavy. For example, the song Honey mentions the fact that people look at him with envy, and he's like we don't have the same 24 hours in a day, which is nice. I like that. But he starts the song out with, lemonade was a popular drink, and it still is. My hairline on 1989 Bruce Willis. Do your hoe feel it? Soul glow feelin'. Whip no sealin'. Twist Brazilians by the pool I'm eatin'. My new bitch from Antigua, or is it Venice? She begging me not to leave at the door. Like, baby, please come and hold me. Popped up, not looking like a hoagie. I was low-key. Enamored by the way she lit the stovey. It's the one and only. Wells Fargo consoled me when I'm lonely.
Oh.
Y'all be running with your bronies. Half man, half baloney.
Oh.
Bitch, you're rigatoni.
Oh.
You with the ops and y'all got chummy trying to dub me. 'Cause you finally ate. We all got tummies.
Oh.
Like, it sounds good. Like, the wordplay is there. Everything rhymes. He's got, like, multiple syllable rhyming throughout pretty much every line. But it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And, like, he does rap about stuff that means something, and he delivers very sort of thoughtful messages throughout, but only in some lines. The next track, Pistachios, has the only feature on it, Rolex, and it's just the weirdest song of all time. Like, I don't see the point in it. The track starts out talking about synthetic oil changes, and then discussing Robert De Niro and Al Pacino movies with friends. I don't understand why he's telling me that. Then he just starts talking Spanish for the next 20 or so seconds, and when he does come back to speaking English, he says he puts the medicine in the patty, bro. He's copped the settlement with a patio. What does he mean by putting medicine in the patty?
No idea.
If I had to guess, he's just cooking burgers, and he's put lean in it.
Maybe
But I don't
that's
think
what
that
he's
would be
done.
very good.
Maybe he's done the lean burgers.
Like, I don't know, maybe there's just like slang that I'm not aware of, or I might be missing something, but like, I don't know what a patty is.
Yeah.
The feature wasn't bad either, but like Mr. Apple, he wasn't especially good.
Yeah.
He didn't really add much to the album. Like, if you ended the song just before his verse, the album wouldn't really change. Reclining on Leather, though, it did start out funny, I'll give him that. He's talking about, like, saying, rappers always say, this teacher always treated me unfairly, it's so cliche, stuff like that, basically bringing that up. But then he's like, but I had a teacher call me stupid several times, and to make it worse, she was bad as fuck. Shout out all teachers.
Shout outs to the teachers.
But yeah, the song, again, doesn't really talk about much. He just brags about how much money he has and how he now makes more than his old teacher. And then right at the end, he says, well, what more can I say? Something, 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 achievement. As if, like, all of a sudden he's become self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, well, what more could I say? You know what I'm telling you during this whole song. I'll just say absolute nonsense and end it with achievement. It achieves the same message.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the whole song was ironic and he was just poking fun at, like, people who do that, or if he just became self-aware at the end. I'm not really sure what happened there. Mickey and Mallory was actually a pretty cool song. It had, like, words beginning with the letter M all throughout the song, and it does sound really cool. I'll give him that. But it did come with the price tag of not making much sense. He had to sort of stretch some sentences just to fit more, like, M words in there. I metrically measure methane. Mysterious musician, I might disappear until next May. I don't know what that means. Like, why is he measuring methane in the metric system?
Oh, mate, don't get me started.
Mannerisms for my metaphors, like someone cut the mustard. Most made it microwavable. They remain in miscellaneous.
Ooh.
Like, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know what he's trying to say there. Most made it microwavable. Yeah, I just randomly chose a point in the song for those two lyrics there, and that's what he said. Like, I didn't hand choose the worst lyrics or anything like that. Paradise is actually pretty good, though. I will give him that. The chorus has him saying that paradise is just too far away. And here, don't get me started on how far away paradise is.
It's like this, but then
Like,
you can't get closer.
I like that. Yeah, I do want to read out a portion of the first verse, because there is some very solid lyricism in there. Something feasting on my inside, silently a dichotomy, taking pride in how I became everything I tried to be, while relying on a form of enterprise that coincides with you and I dying violently. Sometimes I'm weak, sometimes I weep, sometimes I sweep it under the rug, sometimes I make it worse with a drug. Just having things became commonplace, and it wasn't as common of me to contemplate, but shit, sometimes I want to cry and pray. Like, it's a very honest song. Yeah, it just seemed like there were no walls between him and the microphone. There's no pointless lines about him getting head, earning a lot of money. One potential problem I could have with this song, though, this is before listening to the entire album, is that it's the second last track. I don't know why, but for some reason it's very common for artists to have a very good song as the second last one, and then the last one's just a throwaway. I don't know why it's so common, but I was worried. The last track starts out promising. The intro's spoken word. He says he's just trying his best, and it is really a nice track. At about the halfway point, he's talking about how he lost his best friend, and his head just hasn't been right since. He says he still really struggles with it, like he can't even say his name without just losing his shit. And yeah, I want to end this very long review with a set of lyrics from the start of that track. I never had a silver spoon with me, but I got it out the mud beautifully. I watered all my flowers, and now they bloom for me. As good as life is now, I've been missing the past, truthfully. My ex was right, these chicks see me as an opportunity, hoping that I ain't let no one in this world think it of mutiny. If I trust you, that speaks volumes. I don't speak much usually. That's jewellery for you to keep. I'm the one who told me to keep doing me, so tell me, who do I really owe? Please humour me. Swearing they did the most when there's nothing they could do for me. I do it on my own, they try to throw the Yakub on me. More Skrilla, more scrutiny. Lames hoping they could ruin me. But me, I'm Gucci. Embryonic fluid to the eulogy. I'm potent like dust. Envy that's corrosive like rust. I have no hate in my heart, and I wish you luck. I really like that. Multiple syllable rhyming for like over half of that.
Got him.
And I like the I'm potent like dust. Envy that's corrosive like rust. That was really nice. There's like, yeah, there's a lot there. I don't know what a Yakub is.
That sounds like that fish you were talking about before.
No, that's Kuju.
Oh,
Something like that. Kubu,
very
something like that.
close.
Yakub is an Israeli name for Jacob.
Jacob.
Yeah. But, like, that's obviously not what it's trying to throw the Yakub on me. Like, there's no lyrics. I had to decode that, so I may have just done it incorrectly.
Jacob on me.
But, yeah, I don't know what that is.
There you go.
But, yeah, I did end up liking the last two tracks a lot. I will happily listen to them again. But I don't think I'm going to return to the rest, just because there's not really enough there. Like, it sounds good. The beat is nice. And he is good at rhyming words, but that's about it. Like, he needs a lot more raw content, just, yeah, like he did in the last two tracks. And not all albums need to be like that either. Like, Ghetto Lenny's Love Song is one of my favourite albums of all time. And that's just about getting sex and driving Bentleys, but he sounds really good. He's compensated for the lack of content. What Could Possibly Go Wrong by Dominic Fike, again, one of my favourites. He's not a good singer. It doesn't always, like his voice doesn't always sound good. But, like, it's incredibly honest and open, like, to the point of where he leaves in a panic attack. So, like, he's made up for not sounding good by doing that.
Yeah.
Imperial by Mr. Curry is a nice middle ground. He talks about his brother dying and all the other things that have affected him, but only on some tracks. And he has very good unique flows that keep things interesting for the ears. So, like, say this column is sound good, this column is content.
Right.
St. John is that. Dom is that.
Right.
Curry is that.
Right.
Or probably a little bit higher, because it was good. And then, what's his name? Crimeapple. There's probably about that.
Okay. Alright.
So there's not quite enough there for me to return to a lot of it. But in saying that, it is still a lot better than most albums out there. So yeah, I'm still going to rate it a 7 out of 10. It was good enough to make me curious and go and check out, what is it, Viri Videm? Something like that, the one that you reviewed.
Oh yeah, something like that, yeah.
It's something Latin, I can't quite remember. Yeah, I usually don't check out artists' other stuff if I'm reviewing just the one album. So yeah, for him to get me to be able to do that, he was obviously, had some level of goodness about him. So yeah, do check him out if I've interested you.
Yep.
I don't think you're going to be disappointed. It is better than most. But like every teacher told me, like, you've just got so much potential.
There you go.
You just don't choose to use it.
Rip.
Alright, well be sure to tune in tomorrow for another quiz. This one is no punishment. We'll see you tomorrow. That's a wrap.